Okay, hi. Shiva, you can just refresh the state link. You will be able to find it. Which link, Muralidhar? Muralidhar, I've given the access. I've given the link. Jiva, here it is. MCQ for practice. Thumbs you will see. Okay. Anyone who joined after the seventh class here, like was not there till the seventh class, and after seventh class that person has joined. Who is that person? Let me log in. Please share the link. I have already shared with you, Muralidharan. Muralidharan, just check the chat. No, I have already shared it with you. It's the same link. Here. Okay. One of you who basically have joined from the seventh class. Can you please tell me who is that person? Okay. Let's go to S3. Give me 1 minute. Now, okay. Okay. So, yesterday we were talking about deploying the static website. in S3 bucket. Now to deploy the static website, some things which you need to be in consideration is first of all, okay, your bucket name should be same as your domain name. Your bucket name should be same as your domain name. This is what we have. Your bucket and the domain name should be same. Okay, this is the one thing. So, let's take an example. Let's say you have a domain name as www.akshar.com. This is your domain name. Your bucket name should be akshar.com. This is your bucket name. In this way only you can deploy the static website. Can you understand the first point? Can you understand the first point, guys? Right? Yesterday also I've explained this first point to you guys. Now to deploy the S3 bucket, go to your S3 bucket, go to properties, and okay, and scroll down and click on static website hosting. And there you need to select, I want to host a static website. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. Very rare you will be doing it. You just need to know that concept. That's it. Okay. Now, remember one thing. Your bucket should be public. Bucket should be public and object should be public. Should be public to deploy a website. If you are deploying a website, since website is being accessible by the public only, I need to give the public access to the objects and the bucket. So 3 major points you need to remember it here. Any questions in these 3 points? Please take a note of it. Now, how can we do it? So yesterday, I have created, So I have created the careerbeer.com. Yesterday, I've created this website, this bucket name. This is a bucket name with the name careerbeer.com. Okay. So this is a bucket name. If I go to the properties of this bucket, this is a bucket. I will go to the properties of the bucket. And when I scroll down, you will see I will have an option of static website hosting. Okay, static website hosting. Wherein, so you got it right. I will create a bucket. Yesterday, I created that bucket. Any confusion? Do you want me to delete and create the bucket again? Or is it fine? Okay. Now, simply, I will go to the static website hosting. There, right now, the static website hosting is disabled. I will click on the edit button here and enable it. I want to host a static website. I can select it. If I have two buckets, which is there, and traffic is coming to one of the buckets, I want to redirect the traffic to another bucket. Let's say some files are there in another bucket. I can do that by redirecting it and giving the another bucket name. But as of now, I have only one bucket on which I want to host a website. So I will say host a static website here. Now in the index document, I will say what is my main file? The home page file is index.html. If you have an error file also, like say whenever the error comes up, which page should open, error.html also, you can upload it, but it's fine. I will scroll down and save the changes. So very simply, I will go to the properties. I will go to the static website hosting. There I will enable the static website hosting. Okay, we have enabled the static website hosting and I want to host a static website. I want to host a static website here and save the changes. Now, till here you can understand, please confirm yes or no. I will be taking Route 53 today, Gopal. Now, I will be uploading the object. I will be adding a file. Index.html file I will upload. I will open index.html. This I will rename this, or I will just open it. I have created a text document. I will save it as .html. So I will go to file. I will save it as. I will write index.html and I will save it. Let me check if index.html is coming up or not. Where it has saved. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this index.html. Basically, this is a file only. Here, hello world, this is a class. This file is being created up. It should have an extension .html. That's the only thing we have to take care of. I will be adding the file. Okay, I can add this simple file and I will upload it. File is now uploaded. Okay. Now I have to take care of multiple things here. First of all, my bucket should be public bucket. So to make a bucket public, I will go and to properties of the bucket. So this is the properties of the bucket. I will scroll down. Sorry, permissions of the bucket. I will scroll down and I will say, yeah, this is already a public bucket. I've already set it up yesterday itself. Also, I need to ensure that my object is a public object. So I will go to the actions, make public using ACL. I will make it public. Okay, fine. I have made it public. So this is a bucket which is this is the object which is there. This object is also now public. Normally though I can access this object like this. I can go here inside the object and I can normally access it like this. I can simply copy the object and paste it. Okay, but now I have set up a bucket URL. So there is an endpoint which is created up for all the files inside this particular bucket. So now this is the endpoint. http thecareerbeer.com.s3 website US Amazon AWS. So see, it's hosting it. Now, what we have done is we have created an S3 bucket. Inside this S3 bucket, we have hosted a website which is accessible from an endpoint like this, thecareerbeer.com. .s3 website US East 1 Amazon.com. Now, I will connect it to a DNS, which is a domain name service. I will explain you what it is. And we will access it from a Route 53. Are you able to understand? Please confirm yes or no. Are you able to understand it, guys? Please confirm. Okay. So yesterday I've already shared your video. You might have checked that video also. But no problem. Till here we have done it. But now all these things is being a concept known as Route 53 in AWS. Okay. So let's see what exactly or what do I mean by Route 53. Okay, what exactly is a Route 53 is? So when I say Route 53, Route 53 is a scalable and highly available domain name system, which is a DNS system, DNS web service, DNS system, web service, designed to route end user request to appropriate endpoints such as web servers or cloud services, such as web server or cloud services. Okay. Now, what exactly is Route 53 is? See, suppose you open any website. Let's say we are opening a website. named Netflix.com. You want to open this website, the Netflix. You're a user, you're a internet user. You open Netflix.com. You might know that your internet does not understand the English language. Like your internet does not understand Netflix.com. It understands the binary language. Okay. So whenever you type this Netflix.com, the request will be going to the DNS server. The request goes to the DNS server. And then, okay, and then from there, it will convert, or there is a, it has the data. Let's say Netflix is posted on this IP address, let's suppose, or this endpoint, if it's a load balancer. So when the request, you open Netflix.com, the request will first go to the DNS server. And then it is like it will convert this Netflix to appropriate IP address or the endpoint, whatever is associated with it. It is not random, it is fixed. And then again, it will come to your browser. Your browser will save it. And then let's say the IP is 10.20.30.10. This is the IP address on which the Netflix is being running up. And then it will be going to the appropriate server where the Netflix is running. Application is there. And you are then able to communicate. You are communicating with this particular server itself. Understanding, yes or no? See, your internet does not, okay. Okay. Your internet does not, yeah. So your internet does not understand the English language or Hindi language or Tamil or Telugu or Spanish or Japanese. It does not understand those language. Okay. So what we do is, whenever you open, or normally from the browser, this is your browser. Whenever you open any website, the request will always go to domain name server first of all. A domain name server is a web service designed to route. Route means give a proper path. So it will go to the DNS service, okay, to end user request to appropriate endpoint. It will route to an appropriate endpoint like web service or cloud services. So web server like some server, or some cloud service like if it's hosted on cloud. If it's a on-prem, then it's, I can say, web server, or a cloud like AWS, Azure, GCP, any cloud. So then actually the request will again come back here to your browser itself. It will resolve the, we call it resolve the DNS or resolve the name to appropriate endpoint. Then request will again come to your browser where it will be saved, and then it will open the server on the backend. This is a complete process, and you will then communicate. And this is where the DNS server come into the picture. This is where the DNS server come into the picture. Exactly. So when I say DNS, some of you might still have that confusion that what is this DNS? DNS is basically, it's a fundamental of networking. So it's a fundamental, I can say it's a fundamental internet service that translates human readable domain like www.ex.com, like any name, into machine readable IP address like 192.168.1.1. Okay, this is really important because your computers communicate using IP address. Okay, this is important because your computers communicate using IP address, but people find it easier to remember domain name. That's what is DNS is. So it's that Route 53 is the DNS service offered by AWS. Okay, DNS server offered by AWS. Every company, okay, offers a DNS server. Let's say if you are talking about Azure, which is the competitor of AWS, they have Azure DNS. We call it as an Azure DNS. We do have GoDaddy also is offering its own DNS. We have Big Rock, which is again one of the companies which is offering the DNS. We have Google Cloud DNS, which is also there, offered by GCP. So every company has its own DNS. Okay. If you're buying a domain from some other company, then also we can configure, and this is what we are going to configure it as well. Please tell me if you're able to understand it clearly. Just read it out and tell me. Okay. So let me just talk about some of the key features of the DNS service. Can we get a free domain for 90 days? No. You have to pay to use or to create a domain. You can search on YouTube or Google if there is some crack associated with it. But by default, you have to buy a domain. Okay. It will cost you around $10 to $12. But for this lab, I will not recommend you because this particular task which I'm showing you is being taken care by the administrators, not by the solution architects. Now, what are the key features? First of all, it is a DNS service wherein we will translate the domain names, where it translates domain name to IP addresses. Okay. Second one is I can also do a domain registration. Domain registration. Now, what is a domain registration is? We can register any new domain, a new domain name directly through Route 53. Or we can also transfer the existing domain from other registrars. So what we can do, we can register a domain like www.akshat.com if available. If someone else have taken it, then we will not be able to take it up. Okay, if applicable. So domain registration, we can register a domain like www.akshat.com. Okay, from Route 53. We can also transfer the domain. Okay, we can also transfer the domain from other provider like GoDaddy, Big Rock to to Route 53. We can also transfer the domain if your client comes and say that we have a domain present in some another location. Okay, then we can do it. To whom should we contact to register it? No, there is an option. You don't have to contact anywhere. You need to go to Route 53 and there is an option to register it. Similarly, if you go to GoDaddy or if you go to Big Rock, you have to register it, and this is generally taken care by the client itself. You can do a domain registration. We can also have a health checks. Okay. So what happens is Route 53 continuously checks the health. Route 53 continuously monitor the health of your health of your web applications and services. Okay. If a service fails a health check, Route 53 automatically fail over to a backup resource to minimize the downtime. If a service fails a health check, Route 53 automatically fail over to backup resource. Okay, to backup resource to minimize the downtime. Minimize the downtime. This is by default. So what does a Route 53 does? Route 53 will go and check, will continuously check your domain, like your endpoints. Let's say there's a bucket or there's a EC2 machine. It will keep checking. So let's say when someone opens, you have mounted in this way, www.akshat.com. So people are visiting and here they are being DNS service will be converting it to an IP address. It will be resolving the IP address. We have a DNS server here. And then it is going here. Now this DNS server, which is offered by Route 53, it will keep checking the health of this machine. If health is good or not. If there is some problem, let's say this machine is not running, then it will stop sending the traffic to avoid any unnecessary cost. and it will put a failover to back up the resources. So whatever is the previous backup which is being available, it will try to bring it back, so that it will try to whatever it can do, it will try to do it to ensure that this machine again comes up. So this is what my Route 53 prefers doing it. It also do a health check. So these are first three services: DNS, you can do a domain registration, you can do a health check. Please note it down. Okay. Now, everyone has done it. Please confirm. And there's a fourth point which is also there, which is traffic routing policies are also there. What is this traffic routing? Majorly used by AWS development teams. It provides, and the DevOps teams also. So it provides multiple ways to route the traffic. So Route 53 provides multiple ways to route the traffic. One such ways is first was simple routing. Now, when I say simple routing, so let's suppose we have one basic IP. Okay, one basic IP. Just a minute. Okay. So what does it do is basic routing. It has a basic routing where a single resource, example, one IP address. Okay, simple like one IP address or instance is associated with the domain name. Where the domain name. That's a simple routing. Okay. Then we have a weighted routing. This is there. We have two major types of there, other routings as well, but these are the two major types of routing. Okay, what does it do? It will split traffic between multiple resources based on defined weights. Between multiple resources based on defined weights. Like example, I can say 70% to one server and 30% to another. So in this way also we can do a weighted routing. Okay, but now like we do not prefer using weighted routing because it's very costly. Okay, most of the time we are going ahead with the load balancers only. So that's the reason it's not preferred to use a weighted routing, because your pricing will be increased drastically, and performance, as such, there is no drastic change in the performance itself. Okay, got it. Please give me a quick confirmation here. Domain name will remain every time, the domain name will be remaining the same. It will just, after someone hits the domain name, how many requests will be going to a particular server and how many requests will be going to another server is what it means. Okay, how the distribution of the traffic will happen is what it generally means. Okay, please take a note of it. Yes, yes, Nitish. I'm deleting it now. Yes. Yes, Ravindra. Now, it could be an IP address. We can actually map, guys. We can map an IP address and the domain name and the endpoint. Sorry. Let's suppose this is an endpoint. This is an endpoint which is there. I can map it. Load balancers also give you an endpoint, right? So that we can actually take care of. Okay. So I think lab we can do it after the break. So let's meet after the break, guys. Let's meet in next 13 minutes and then we'll continue. Guys, we will start in next 1 minute. Any confusion till this point, guys? Please confirm. Now, sure, Ernest. If we have a host portal as a private website, so if we have a question, we have a question here that if we have a host portal as a private website, like within an organization, if you want to host it on a particular domain, you have to buy a domain as well there also. Okay, but it would be only accessible within the private network. Okay. Ernest, I have actually explained it in a very detail. If you can check the recording once, you will understand it. Okay, about like I've explained it how the structuring also works. If you check the recording once more, you will understand it thoroughly. If you do not understand, do let me know. I will explain it again. Now, let's go ahead and let's see. This is the website which I need to host. Okay. Now, we will be going to the Route 53. So I'll go to Route 53. Here, if you see, I can buy a domain as well. So I can go to register domain if I want to buy a domain. I already have a domain. But let's suppose I want to buy a particular domain, which is there. Okay. Now, here we can put up a domain name, let's say any name. If I try to buy adurica.co, if I search it, I will not have that domain because it is owned by someone else. You can see adurica related search. Yeah. Adurica.com is available for $14. Adurica, www.adurica.com. So you can see these domains are available, but adurica.co is not available. Similarly, if I open Netflix, I want to buy Netflix.com. It will say not available because it is owned by someone else. So if a particular domain is owned by someone else, okay, it would be if a particular domain is owned by someone else, it will be, I will not be able to buy it. You are able to understand. Please give me a quick heads up and confirmation here. Okay. Now, if I go to Route 53, as of now, let's go to the dashboard and let's host the domain. I will not be buying a domain because it's a prepayment which is there. I have to pay an amount to use this services. So I have a GoDaddy. I have a domain which I purchased long back from GoDaddy. Now, GoDaddy is a company. You might have heard about it. Anyone who has not heard about GoDaddy, anyone who has not heard about tech, you can buy some domains from the GoDaddy company. Let's say I want to buy a domain. I want to buy, let's say, akshadaeducation.com. So it's available. Okay, in rupees. You can see, you can buy these domains. And most of the times your client will have already have purchased the domain, which is running on a different company. They might have purchased it from Big Rock. They might have purchased it from GoDaddy. So these are the companies from which the domain they are buying. Okay. So similarly, I also have purchased a domain. If you go to my product, I have this careerbeer.com. This is a domain which I have purchased long back. I'm not using it. The website, there is nothing on this website. It's a blank. Okay, there is nothing which is there because I'm not using this particular application right now or this particular domain right now. But what I'm going to do is this the careerbeer.com. I'm going to host it, or this is present in GoDaddy. Okay. The DNS will be present on, which is by Route 53. The hosted zone will be present on AWS, Amazon Web Services. And this is my S3 bucket, which is being present. Okay. So what should have happened is when someone from the internet when someone from the internet tries to open the careerbeer.com, like opens careerbeer.com, the request will be coming on GoDaddy because I have purchased the domain from GoDaddy. But from here, the request will go to the DNS server, where is offered by Route 53. And from there, we should be able to, it will convert it to an endpoint or an IP address, and then we will be able to access the S3 bucket. Now here, in this whole process from the beginning, okay, if it would have been hosted on AWS only, then it would, the complete setup would be really easy for us. But since this careerbeer.com is being hosted on another company, is being provided by another company, I need to provide this path. I need to provide this path. You are able to get it right. So we need to tell that whenever we need to provide a path which will tell that, okay, we need to provide the path which will tell that the traffic should be routed to this specific DNS server, basically via namespaces like coordinates, not namespaces, name servers, NS. What is this name servers is? See, name servers is basically the address, I can say the address of DNS is name servers in the most easiest words. So I will tell that when the traffic is coming here, it should go to this specific address of the DNS. So as soon as a request comes here, it would be taken to the DNS where the address of the DNS will be present up, and from the DNS we will say that the address will be or the request will be going to this S3 bucket or any other if you have EC2 machine or if you have the load balancers. So that is where you can point it up. So name servers is there. Are you able to get it? Please confirm yes or no. Are you understanding it? Please confirm. Okay, just I will repeat it again. See, I know this is little more complicated, but in real time, it's very, very rare that your client will be asking you to buy a domain. 99 in our company, in the product, not in the product, in the IT field, which I have worked with, all the times, the domain was already being configured, everything was being done. This section was being done, but since I'm teaching you this stuff, I have a domain. Luckily, I have a domain which is there. I'm covering this point so that you have an end-to-end understanding about the concept. Okay. So what happens is, see, whenever someone opens or whenever a user from internet opens, let's say, the careerbeer.com, which is present in GoDaddy, on GoDaddy. The request will go to the DNS. Okay, request will be going to the DNS because we have defined the name servers. So the request will automatically go to the DNS as we have defined the name servers, NS. We have defined the name servers NS, which is the address of this DNS. Like someone, your friend is coming, let's say your friend is coming to your house. This is your house. So when he opened, you told that your friend that come to this market, and there you can ask someone that where is this Akshat lives. So when the friend came to the market, he asked that where Akshat lives. So they told that Akshat lived to this particular address. So we will be able to reach it out. So a request is coming to this website, this particular domain, which is hosted on GoDaddy. This domain is purchased from GoDaddy. The request will be coming up here. Then it will be pointed to the DNS server DNS server will take that request, or DNS server, we will configure everything. We are going to configure this, we are going to configure this, and we are going to configure this. This we have already set up. We have already created an endpoint, which we have already done. Now we will configure Route 53. And then we will configure this, where when I create this Route 53, it will generate the address, the namespace for a name server for me. And then I will just configure that same name server here, which is like telling this careerbeer.com, which is on GoDaddy, that whenever request comes up, you have to take it to this particular address. Are you able to understand? Yes or no? Okay. Let me show you how it works. Please write it down if you're writing it somewhere in your notebooks. How will it go first to GoDaddy? There are other domain providers. Yes, because it will go to GoDaddy because I have a website, I have a domain purchase from GoDaddy. If you look here, I explained it also. No, we have a domain purchase on GoDaddy. That's why I'm explaining you on that perspective. It could be anyone, but the career beer is purchased from GoDaddy. I'm specifically typing the name of the website, which I will be showing you a demo on. Sure. Okay. Okay. I'm deleting it now. So let's first create a hosted zone. Okay. So the hosted zone tells Route 53 how to respond to the DNS queries, such as for the domain such as example.com. If someone opens example.com, how to respond to it. Okay. So how the IP address, or which IP address should be open, or which endpoint should open. So we will create a hosted zone here. Okay. Now, here the domain name will be coming up. Now here the domain will be coming up. So domain basically will be the domain name of your website. So my website is this, the careerbeer.com, right? The career beer, which I have purchased from GoDaddy. I will not recommend you to go and buy. But yes, this is the careerbeer.com, which is there. I just need to write the careerbeer.com. Okay, I will just put the domain name here. I will be simply putting the domain name here, guys, which is the careerbeer.com. Here, description about this particular domain, like this is our web service. Okay. Now, I have a two types. One is public hosted zone, private hosted zone. Now, public hosted zone is a hosted zone wherein you can define if how the traffic is routed on the internet. We can define, or let's say, if you want to host a public website, if we want to host a website accessible from internet, then we will use a public hosted zone. If we are putting it in this private hosted zone, okay, so in the private hosted zone, what happens is we will be selecting, or if we want to host the website accessible from only some private network, from a network, like a private network, then we can select the private hosted zone. Let's say, if I take an example, you are filling up timesheets in your offices. Now that timesheet website is only accessible from your office only, right? Or there is some details, like for example, you're putting some your leave request, or you have some portal, your company's portal for employees. So these are being accessible only within the company VPN if you're connected to the company's network. Yes. Okay. Whereas any website, if you open netflix.com, if you open Flipkart, if you open Amazon, if you open Google, these are basically accessible. These websites are accessible from the internet. But whereas the websites like timesheets and all those stuff, you can go for the private hosted zone. So a private hosted zone determines how the traffic is routed within the Amazon virtual private cloud. In your companies, they will not be giving you an IP address, right? They have a proper domain. Let's say www.amazontimesheet.com or something like that. I don't remember for Google, but yeah, something like that. But here it's netflix.com, flipkart.com, amazon.com, google.co or google.com. Simple website which is accessible from the internet will be coming up here. As of now, I will be going and using a public hosted zone, and I will create it up. It will create a hosted zone for you. Now you will see there is there is one thing which is being created, which is name servers. NAME name servers. This is the name servers. And this is the location. Basically, I can say the address. So this is a unique address. No other name server has this same address. It's a unique address which is there. SOA is a start of authority. You don't have to remember it. Okay, you don't have to remember it. I don't know how I remember it. But yeah, it's a start of authority. I think one of the student asked me in one of the classes, so that's the reason I remember. The start of authority. It is basically a DNS record that will provide some administrative information about the domain. It is being taken care by AWS. It's being a AWS thing. You will not be using it anywhere. But what does it hold? It has some administrative, administrative information about domain. And we don't have access to it. It is used for internal purposes by AWS or this Route 50. We need this, which is the name servers. Now we need to pass this name server on GoDaddy. We need to tell the GoDaddy when someone comes and open what was the name? The careerbeer.com. Careerbeer.com. Then the request will be coming up here. Because I will define this address in this domain. I will point at this address in this particular domain now. This is what I'm going to do in here. So let's try. I will go to my GoDaddy. Okay. I've already purchased it. I will not recommend you to purchase, but if you want to try or if you're planning to start your own company in future, you can buy a domain. Okay. I was planning to start it up, but I think I should be starting it very soon. So I will be going to the manage here. I need to update the name servers. Let's see where we find. Okay, what is this coming up? Why not to buy from AWS directly? You can buy from AWS directly also. I don't have any issues. Okay, you can buy from AWS directly also, but if your account is deleted, this domain will also go with that account. So if your account due to any, let's say you are not paying up the bill for your AWS account, if your account is gone, your domain will also go with it. And then it is available for resale after 2 years. So you cannot wait for 2 years, right? So I generally prefer keeping it in some another. I don't want to be completely dependent on a single company. But yeah, it's your choice. I've already shown you. Now this the careerbeer.com. I will be going to the DNS. Yeah, I have to click on that DNS. Process will remain the same. If you're buying it from AWS, you don't have to configure all these things. It will automatically be configured for you. Now in the name servers, I will go to this name server of careerbeer.com. Okay. See, I have already some name servers which is there. I will be changing the name servers. I'm just telling that these are the name servers wherein I need to point the traffic to. These are the name servers I need to point the traffic to. I will copy this one by one. Okay, let me repeat it. No problem. You will go to the GoDaddy. GoDaddy domain. Okay. In this, if you have purchased some domain, you will get a mail that thank you for purchasing, and you will, when you go to your products, see, whenever you want to go a domain, the okay, search a domain. I can make it mine. It's in rupees, which is an Indian currency. I'm in India right now. I will continue. I don't want any domain productions. Nothing. I will continue to the cart. And then I can simply buy it from here. Okay, I can simply buy it from here. You can see it was showing 1 rupee, but now it's showing 2,799 rupees. If I change it to 1 year also, that's a minimum cost you need to pay. See, that's a minimum cost you need to pay. You can convert it in your currency. Not a big amount, but yes, still there is some billable. 1 year cost it is. After 1 year, you need to buy it again. I will go to my products. Here, I will be going to the DNS. Here, I will be clicking on the name servers. Okay, so I will go to the DNS and name server. I need to update the name servers. Rest all things I don't have to worry about it. I just need to update the name servers. I will tell that whatever request is being coming up on this domain should be pointed to this particular DNS server. So I will change the name servers. It will take around 15-20 hours to do it, but I think if it is done little faster, we will see. Now here, we'll copy this domain, paste it here. Then the second one also. So I will use my own name servers. Then this one also I will copy it, paste it here. Then this also I will copy it. I will paste it here. And then this also I will copy it and paste it here. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the 4 domains I have put it up. And when I save it, okay, click on the continue. And you can see the request is in progress. The request is in progress, which means I have updated it. It will take some time for it to take care of it in the back end. But here, this name servers I have updated up in my GoDaddy. Any questions till this point? Any questions you have in your mind till this point? No questions? Now, where was the old DNS pointed previously? It might have been, I was using AWS only in my previous classes. Okay, I think I was using S3 or somewhere else. Okay, but that DNS record is deleted now. Okay. Do you have to configure 4 NS name servers? Yes. These are the 4 name servers. This is like a path. Combination of them is unique. Okay, all this complete combination is a unique address of this particular DNS server. Okay. Otherwise, there is a possibility that there is something else also with this name server, but the combination will be unique. Okay. Because right now there are millions of websites running up. So they have to, in future, earlier, like when I started my career, there were 2. Then it became 3. Then it became 4. Like that. It is increasing. Because uniqueness need to be increased, right? That's why. Now, here, we have to define that after traffic is there any maximum number of requests? No, it can handle any number of requests. It can handle any number of requests. More the request it is taking up, more is a billable you have to pay. Okay. More the requests coming up, more the billables you will be paying up. Now what is happening is the request is coming to the GoDaddy, which is then pointing to the name server. Which is pointing to the name server here. So this name server will be then pointing, like then we have to take it to S3. So we will create a record wherein we will say that we have to point it to the S3 bucket itself. So how we can do it? Let's see. So we will create a new record. Okay, we will be creating a new record. And we will say that what is a record name? Record name is like you can say that this particular or if my website is let's say blog.thecareerbeer.com. So the request is coming up here where it should redirect. So if you have subdomains also, this we call it as a subdomain. Careers @thecareerbeer.com. Okay, something else also. So in those cases, when the request is being coming up, how it need to point it. But for now, in this condition, I'm saying that the careerbeer.com, basically my website should be careerbeer.com only, where this request should go. So there are multiple record types which is there. Majorly we use these 3 record types only. but I will talk about some of the important record types. Record type defines that when the traffic is coming, let's say someone opens www.thecareerbeer.com, it will be hosted or it will go to which kind of infrastructure or which kind of server. That is like record type. You have to define that record type in that way. If I take an example, there's a record. There's a record which is there. So what does it do? It routes the traffic. Okay. To an IPv4. I will just explain you little in some time. Let me just create it. The reason why I'm asking you is because this configuration will also take some time internally. Then I will come here and explain you. Okay. I will explain you these stuff. Okay. I will explain you these stuff. What are these? But just a minute. I will just, I don't have to make any changes here because whenever I'm using any endpoint, I will be using it as an alias. Okay. I will say that my endpoint is S3 bucket. My application is hosted on the S3 bucket. So I'm going to say that alias. I will explain you alias also. I will say that my website is hosted on S3 bucket. So I will say S3 here. And the region is this website is hosted or this. Just a minute. I will put S3 here. Because actually, oh shit. The careerbeer.com, US, North Virginia. Okay. So I will allow this S3 endpoint. Website is in North Virginia. Yeah, US East 1, which is North Virginia. And you will see this, the careerbeer.com website is being coming up. Okay. I wanted to check the health. Routing policy is a simple policy. If I can put weighted also, but I have only single point. So and telling that when the traffic reach to DNS, where it should go S3. Alias is also known as. It will take that request to this endpoint, to this particular endpoint, which is running in North Virginia. You're understanding, right? I will explain you this stuff, but I just wanted to configure it because it will take. I'm sorry, guys, my system just got disconnected. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, guys? Please confirm yes or no. I'm sorry, my system just got disconnected. So I was saying that this record types I will explain you in the theory, but what I can do is I'm just telling you the setup because it will take some time on the backend to configure the setup. So let me just create the setup and then I will take it forward. So there is a alias which is there. Okay, I will be setting up the alias. Now alias is one of the special type of DNS record that allows you to map your domain name directly to AWS resource. AWS resource where we configured, let's say as this S3 bucket, we have configured in this specific S3 bucket, we have configured the website. So what we are saying is whenever someone opens career beer, it will go to the DNS and then DNS will take that request here to this endpoint. Understanding, yes or no? So I will say only I need to make a change in allies. I need to enable this. I will say that S3 is the endpoint. I will select the region. Let's say North Virginia is the region. I will define the region and here I will say that this is the endpoint. The careerbeer.com is the endpoint. Got it? Please confirm. Okay. And I can create a record. Simply I can create a record. Now there were some type of, so there are, if you see, there are some type of record types, like where the traffic would be pointed or how the traffic would be pointed. We can define it from the record type. If I take an example, so we have some type of major record types, which includes, okay, so let's say we have first is A record. A record is there. Now it routes the traffic to an IPv4 address, the public IP of the machine, and some AWS resources. Let's say, and this is one of the most commonly used. Let's say you have a EC2 machine. Okay, there you are running some website which has some IP address, let's say 192.0.2. Let's say this is a public IP. Now I want to make this accessible from www.abc.com. So I will set up a route 53. I will set a DNS. So when the request will come to this DNS, the request, when someone opens it, the request will be coming to the DNS. And in DNS, we will say, we will set up a record and we will say that the request will be coming up here itself. Are you getting it? Please confirm. The request will be coming to this DNS. So we are going to provide, like we will say that these are the IP addresses we need to provide the traffic to. So there we will set up a record in such situations. Okay. When we are working on IPv6, okay, IPv6, we have a record, which is there. It routes the traffic to IPv6. This is 32-bit IP address. So what was happened was earlier, we never thought, when IP was getting introduced, we never thought that we will have, every device will have its own IP address. So now the IPv4 is little short. So the companies have started transiting to IPv6, which will take around 5 to 10 years from now. But when we route the traffic to IPv6 address, which is a 132-bit IP address. I need to cross check, but yeah, it's a 132-bit IP address. It routes the traffic to 132 IP address, which is there. Same thing, where if we are using IPv6, the same process will happen here. The third is CNAME. Okay. It will route the traffic from one domain to another domain. Okay. Just do one thing, guys. Open fb.com in your laptop. What would be the output? Like when you open fb.com in your system, in your laptops, what is your output? Tell me. It will open to facebook.com. It will go to facebook.com. Okay, but I don't know, guys, but someone has also hosted. If you open akshat.com, you will see it will go to some Twitter account. I have not configured it, someone else have done it. Okay. It goes to Twitter account, someone's Twitter account. Akshat.com is a domain, it is going to another website. So what it is happening, it routes the traffic from one domain to another domain, from one domain to another domain. So if I show you akshat.com, see, normal website, it will be pointed to this twitter.com. I don't know who is this person. Okay, I really don't know who is this person. But yes, it is pointing me to this particular location here, to some Akshatgiri, right? So same thing happens when you create a CNAME record. Let's say if someone opens this cb.com, careerbeer.com, then it should be pointed to the careerbeer.com automatically. Domain name, yes. Canonical names. We call it as a canonical names. The full form of CNAME is canonical names. Are you understanding? Please confirm yes or no. These are the major three types of domain names which we are using in the real time also. A record, these are the two only. Okay, this is the most commonly used. Okay, and also we use allies. We also use allies. Now, what is an allies is, take a note of it, then I will write allies also so that your notes are completed. No, Vinita. It's very straightforward. I have to buy another domain also to show it. So to show CNAME, I have to buy one more domain. If I buy any particular reason, if I buy one domain, I will show you one more domain. Unnecessary, it will add a cost to me, right? Thank you. Then we have an allies also, which is there. Now, what is an allies is? Allies is basically, yes, CAA record is also there, where you need to define some certificate. Personally, I've not used CAA record ever, but yes, when you have to define, when we specify a particular certificate. Now we have an allies. It is one of the special type. It's a special type of record DNS record that allows you to map your domain name directly to AWS resources. Like you can map it to CloudFront, you can map it to S3 website hosting, static website hosting. We can put it to load balancer. There is an endpoint in the load balancer. Okay, so we can host it to the load balancers, so etc. etc. So basically, if the DNS record, I want to host it to some resource where the endpoint we get, where we have the endpoint. Let's say in load balancer also, if you remember, your previous trainer have done it for you. There's a load balancer. There's an endpoint which is received, right? Which is balancing the load. So that endpoint is what we have to like configure. Then we have the CloudFront is also there. So if there also we get some endpoint via the CloudFront. So you can remember it whenever you have some endpoints received, then you should be going with the allies. Okay, whenever you have the endpoint received rather than IP, whenever we have endpoints received rather than IP, we use allies. I hope you have understood. Please confirm. Yes or no? Okay. Now, you don't understand my last sentence. So whenever you are using some endpoint, so whenever let's say in S3 we got an endpoint, for load balancer we got an endpoint, for CloudFront also we will be getting the endpoint. So whenever we have the endpoint received rather than IP, we use allies. If it's an IP, if let's say in EC2 machine you have an IP address, so there you will use which record? Tell me, a record. There we will use a record. But if we have the endpoint received, let's suppose this was an endpoint, right? Not this one. There was an endpoint, right? This was an endpoint which was received. This endpoint was received in S3. So in those cases, we should be going ahead with the allies. Okay, this is what. Now let's see. Luckily, if it is running, it takes some time. But yeah, now it's running. See, thecareerbeer.com. See, it's running up. Thecareerbeer.com. If you open it, my website is hosted. See, you got it? It's running up. That's the only reason I did it little early because it takes 5-10 minutes to get it configured. So during the explanation, it got configured internally. I hope you have understood. Please say yes or no. If you have any doubts, please ask. Otherwise, we can wind up the session. Yes, you just in the CNAME, you just need to define where it need to redirect it to. Okay. Whenever you create a CNAME, you can add one more record and you can say that where it will redirect it to. So it will ask you which website it should or which IP, which domain it should be redirected to. So you will say that, okay, I'm using fb.com. This is a domain I own. It should be redirected to facebook.com. Okay. There, how to add www. Okay. You have to pay some cost for that. I will just show you. So this is my domain. Okay. This is my domain. I can create a record here. Okay. Here I will just put CNAME. And I can put www. Like if I want to show you where it need to redirect careerbeer.com. So if someone opens it directly, it will open www.careerbeer.com and I can save it. Okay, here I don't have the access to it actually. So that's the reason why it is happening. But this is how the process will go on. This is how the process will work. You can directly switch it to www.careerbeer.com. I should actually first use www.careerbeer.com and then I can point it to here. Okay, Rahul. Got it, Rahul? Please confirm. You just need to set up a CNAME record. That's it. I've already set it up. That's why it's not coming up. I have to create one more record, and creating a record is something, it's fine. Okay. Can you please share the, okay, already shared it in the previous session, but I'll share it again. Okay. Yes, David. So we can set up anything from the CNAME to any website we want. Yes. Yes, anything in public owned by anyone. Yeah, absolutely. That is being possible. Okay. Okay, guys, I think that would be all for today. I thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Okay. Enjoy your day today. Thank you. Thank you. Bobby, I'm accepting your request. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.